Follow me.
Okay.
Secret to show you.
No.
Gentlemen, prepare to be amazed.
Oh my God! On Sunday night, I'm gonna fuck this baby! Oh God, no!
Hell's existence, but you know me, know nobody.
I lost a lot of guys, good guys.
What was your career?
I was a lifestyle blogger. I've seen a lot of shit.
Mom! Dad!
Algae?
Am I alive? Do I matter?
Algae.
No!
Algae?
Listen to yourselves!
Algae.
You're insane!
You better have an umbrella because we're gonna make it rain up with this motherfucker.
Look at this. This is beautiful.
I know him, he's cool. I know he doesn't look cool, but he's cool.
What you tell, I just know hell's existence, but you know me, know nobody.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us. What'd you guys think of that trailer, huh? Pretty sick stuff.
Pretty cool.
Jeff Grips in a trailer? What are you, shitting me? Cussing's
Shades?
okay, right? We're on the internet.
Are the shades for the lights? Do the lights get to you?
You know what? It was a choice I made out
It
there.
was a very
I don't know
bold
if it's
choice.
the right one, but it
It's
was
a
a choice I made.
I wouldn't have said anything if it hadn't have been a choice that was just made
Just
30
made,
seconds
yeah.
ago.
You're like, are you sure that's Phil?
Guys, I want to talk specifically about this season, but let's go back to the beginning. We've never had you here. It's only the second season. We can tell the story of Animals, how it started. When did you first get the idea, and what was the original short like?
The first shorts we started making were about like a minute long, and Phil and I worked at an advertising agency, and we were...
Not too far from here.
Not too far from here. We actually drove past it. It was kind of a weird experience.
It was. We were in a big black car.
But...
And I was like, fuck you.
yeah.
I'm better
And
now.
we're looking
Rich.
out of this window.
I'm not.
And we saw these two pigeons outside on a ledge, and we started riffing as them. And we thought that was funny. And so Phil was like, I want to try animating something to that. So that was the first one. We started doing a different animal every time. And
Had you guys been doing animation before? Were you sort of familiar
No.
with how animation worked?
Not at all.
We just torrented a bunch of the programs, and I just like watched YouTubes of like 13-year-old kids telling you how to do it. We animated it in Final Cut, so we still don't know how to animate really. But you just figured it out, and we just kept trying to make it. We made it in little installments of a 12-minute thing, and then won a New York Television Festival here, and then that got the Duplass brothers on board, who are executive producers, and then we decided to make it independently with them. So we made 2 episodes, and I think we talked to you around then.
Yeah. How
Yeah.
long did it take to make the first one?
The first 2 episodes were like a year, I think. We were
Yeah,
in
because
this-
it was us and like
Well,
2
not
other
just the
guys.
episodes, the shorts that you
Oh.
submit. Yeah, the original shorts.
It was over a year, right, Mike? Because
Well-
we only did like 3 or 4 of the little shorts, then we did a 12-minute short, maybe like 2 years or something like that. But we were on a monthly schedule, and then for the 12-minute thing that we won New York Television Festival with, that was basically 3 times the amount of effort of the first ones. Imagine I just crumple onto the ground. He died. He was trying to
died
explain
right
his
there
fucking cartoon.
At
and
AOL
he died.
Build. He died.
It would be a first. It would be great.
That's
great news
true.
for us, an amazing headline.
Interesting.
People would tune in the hopes that more died on this stage afterwards. It'd be incredible.
Yeah, people go on there and they just drop dead.
If you want to die, thank you. We'll sell ads against
Let's
it.
do
It'll be
it.
amazing.
You guys should book Kellyanne Conway next.
If it means she dies on this stage, please God.
Okay, I'm so glad you jumped on board with me.
We'll fucking jump on board with
shit.
shitting on Kellyanne Conway in a heartbeat.
Great.
Thank you.
All right.
Great.
I voted for Trump, but okay.
Yeah. A lot of people don't know this about animals, but we're alt-right.
I got a sense of that in the episode where you were talking about border crossing and your main heroes were ICE agents.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Lucky
we had
voting
pigeons
booths.
that were Ice agents. No, that doesn't happen.
So you win this television festival. Mark and Jay get on board essentially, and they help you produce sort of 2 independent episodes, and that's when HBO gets involved, right?
Yeah. And the idea was, instead of going to a network off of this 12-minute pilot that we had made before those, the idea was move across the country. We'll help get you funding, set you up in this apartment. We'll get some few other animators, and we'll just figure out how to do it. And he couldn't guarantee that it would wind up anywhere, but he could guarantee that we'd be able to make the show exactly how we wanted to make it, and have all these great people that they're friends with. We had Aziz Ansari come into our little apartment, Chelsea Peretti,
The
Mark
Duplass
Maron.
brothers kidnapped us.
They kidnapped.
They put us in a 2-bedroom apartment, one of the bedrooms of which became a recording studio. So we slept in the living room for a year. It was horrible. It was horrible.
It was an experience for sure. But
Now, what was the intention behind that? So that you didn't have to go to a network, show them a 12-minute pilot, and then the network says, that's good, but can it be more of this, and can we change
exactly.
it to that?
So
Or
it's
here,
the-
make a pilot, that doesn't work.
Yeah.
Well,
could
now
get
your
stuck
idea is
in
dead.
development hell and all.
The show's so fucking weird. It's so confusing. It's a sketch show where some of the animals come back, and there's a human storyline, but the humans don't talk, and the mouths don't move. So we just had to show it to people, really, to show that we could do it, some sort of finished product, and put it in front of them and make sure that they got it. Because I think that's the only way you can really sell this thing, is doing it completely.
What did you find in doing that first season were the kind of guiding principles behind Animals in terms of the humor?
Mike and I, we just write from our guts. We're the sole writers on the show, so we just lock ourselves in a room.
Still just the sole writers on the show?
Yeah, we just we it's weird. It's hard to explain. It's hard to articulate, but we really just write from our guts, and we kind of I think we sort of lean into if we're 15 years old, what's the funniest thing that these rats can do right now? And turns out it's find a baby and then wrestle that baby WWF style, which happens in episode 6 of this year of our TV show.
In episode 1 or 2, you have Harmony Korine and Michael Rappaport.
We do, yeah.
I mean, Harmony Korine's just, he's a hero, but both of those are sort of New York heroes.
Yeah.
What was it like having that?
It was really cool. It was. I think part of the other guiding principle I would say is we just really want to try to find people to come do voices that we like and are inspired by, and maybe wouldn't be doing an animated show and any other show. So we've had some really fun pairings of people, and we have had a lot of music people too. We had Big Sean come do a voice.
Kim Gordon.
Kesha. Kesha is one end of a worm that Phil and I are also a worm that we go on a date with her, and Mary Holland. And it's
just really funny.
She's very funny. So I think just having that eclectic grab bag feel to the show is something that we really leaned into in the second season.
What was it like when a lot of these guest stars were coming to this apartment that you had a little recording studio? And how was the sort of biggest celebrity of that moment that you were able to pull into the show? How did they respond to the apartment?
Aziz Ansari sold out Madison Square Garden, performed there, and then he came to our fucking sweaty apartment and
2
sat
days
in a
later,
room.
literally.
2 days later, we have like ferny pads on the wall and stuff as our booth. Everyone was really game and cool about it, but it's just inherently okay, what am I walking into exactly? But once we set up the idea of it, that it's a little weird, and we're just gonna, once we get into it, because it's really just talking with microphones in front of us and just having a good time. It's not too acting heavy or anything like that. We've done hundreds of VO sessions now with people, so we really know how to make the room comfortable to get the best takes out of people.
And also early on too, when we were there, I think having Mark and Jay be a part of the enterprise, it made people understand it a little bit more, that this is this cool kind of ragtag thing that is going to be a little not what I'm used to, but it's going to be fun and creatively satisfying.
It's going to be, for lack of a better term, because it's cliche, DIY.
That's correct.
DIY. What's ragtag mean?
Ragtag.
No, I know what it means, but what's the
I used the
etymology?
thing
Where's it come
correctly.
from? Ragged tag.
I don't.
I'm just wondering.
So it's
I
just
was just throwing something out there.
it's just the two of you writing the show. Do you ever wish that there was more people with you bouncing to bounce ideas off of at the very least?
No,
Or
we're
do you
sort of a
both-
ragtag team, and we no, honestly, no. It's such a Phil and Mike thing that we really wanted to keep that nugget of just the two of us in a room figuring it out and getting to something. Yeah, we do act through every outline with the Duplass Bros before we bring people in, just to make sure that we're not like painting any in a corner or anything like that, making sure that it's fun and we can get through the story in a seamless way. So we do kind of do that, and we'll rework off of those. But for the most part, it's just, I don't know, man. If you have something good and too many outside influences, it's going to fuck up your whole shit.
Have you guys had, because it's animation, you can kind of do anything. Has there been any ideas that you just weren't able to get through with your animals because it was too disgusting or too weird?
No. We do it all. There's been, it's tough. Writing a season of a show, you got 10 episodes, so you want to make sure that some things don't step on other things, really. And especially with season 2, we really got into writing bigger stories. We really took swings tonally from episode to episode where there are just big swings and send-ups of stuff. So we stuff had to get cut, basically. We're kind of on the scale of animated stuff. We're not huge. We don't have like a Simpsons farm that we can really kind of build everything. And our show, especially, the world completely reinvents itself episode to episode. So we have new main characters, we have new settings, all that sort of stuff. So you got to fucking draw everything. You have to draw everything on these shows. I don't know if you guys know that, but that's a little animation insider. Everything's drawn.
Is it writing 10 episodes of a show together? How long does that process take?
Like 2 months, kind of.
You write 10 episodes in 2 months?
We do, yeah. You just lock yourself up and you just try to think of the funniest thing possible. And luckily, animation, you can really find stuff and kind of tune stuff a little bit here and there for quite a while. It's not like live action where you have a shoot day and all of it's done. It's, you got a storyboard phase that you can kind of tweak and change things. That being said, we never bring anyone back in to re-record their lines or anything like that. But you can kind of refine what you...
Refined or refine?
Refine. I'm gonna switch it to refine.
That's
what
good.
you want to do.
Now, this season, you guys do a live action episode, right?
We do. Yeah,
And,
that's a scoop. That's an AOL build scoop.
That and your death. And we have, and you have RuPaul guest starring in it, which is so awesome.
So cool.
You direct every episode. Did you direct the live action episode as
Yep.
well?
Yeah,
Were you
fucking
guys
A.
nervous going into directing live action versus directing animation, or did you see
Never been nervous before in my life, which is actually crazy. That's the thing
Why
about
don't
it.
you just put the shades back on, bro?
Yeah. No, because we actually come from live action in a way too. So we both have been making shorts over the years and doing working in advertising. Clearly, that's what they all look like.
Yeah.
But
I like it, but why's the girl got to talk? That's advertising.
that's happening. That's that
basically
kind
advertising.
of. Those are the
You definitely
kind
had
of
to clear that
Pieces
up.
of shit. Yeah, oh yeah. This is good, but I don't know. Can we make it fucking stupid? That's advertising.
Yeah.
It's easy.
That was
You
it.
can do it, and they'll pay you for that.
Sorry, you were
Glasses
saying.
are off. I'm back.
You were saying about directing live action. It's fairly.
It was.
You had
I think
experience?
our muscles were there for it because we kind of come from that, and we're also dabbling in live action segments in the first season a little bit. So it's something where when we were writing the second one, we were just like, what's another way to push that? And this idea of, can we do an entire live action episode?
We wanted to do something that was a little scary, and we got picked up for 2 seasons, so it was like kind of now or never to really take those big swings, and I think it's important to do that episode to episode even, because animation takes so long and our whole process takes so long that you got to be psyched on what you're making. You can't be really half on for any idea. So this was one of those big swings.
Were you worried that doing a full live action episode would eat up your budget or anything like that?
Mm-mm. it's so much money to make an animated show. Even ours that is on the very low end of the spectrum of how much animated shows cost. Taking that, we were just like, okay, we can make a half hour with that amount of money. We just took that, and then our producer worked backwards from it.
Yeah.
And that's how we did it.
Without too many sacrifices to the animated show, too. Because we still have 9 other episodes that are the cartoon.
So who has been your favorite guest star so far that you've had? Who was the one who came in that you were just sort of like blown away that you got them in the room?
I'm going to be honest with you. Everyone we've had on our show has been really fucking nice and cool and amazing. And I wish I would say it here if anyone was a clunker or mean to us. But everyone's like super nice and awesome. That being said, do you have any favorites? I think Mitch Hurwitz is like creator of Arrested Development, is kind of like a behind the camera guy, a writer guy, but he's been on our show twice now. And he was my dad pigeon in one episode, and then he's a possum in season 2. And he's so funny. He's an Arrested Development
like
human
constantly
being.
laying out little threads of jokes, and then you just don't think anything of them in the moment, and then 5 minutes later, it all pays off. It's
an incredible
so
mind.
So his brain works exactly like Arrested Development.
Arrested Development,
exactly.
yeah.
He's great. Usher was really funny.
Usher's super
come in.
funny.
Usher bit is really great.
Usher came in and just like.
First of all, he
how's
comes
this
on the
gonna go?
microphone, and it's just butter. His voice is just so beautiful. And then he was great. Jessica St. Clair and Lennon Parham, who are on Playing House. That's their show. They were on season 1, and they came back in season 2 too. Just so funny, but also really rich and distinctive voices. They really play off each other in an aesthetic way that's really good.
Mindy Kaling was really funny. We have her in
Mindy
the
was
Squirrels episode and is so great and
So
cool.
sweet.
Pauly Shore is Phil's dad in that
Pauly
one.
Shore.
Both our dads.
How was Pauly?
Pauly, so a recording booth's like this, and you stand in there, and the whole time he's just like walking around, like delivering his line, like fucking over here, and like trying to talk into it. But
It was charming. It was great.
It was great, but it was kind of like Pauly, just a little closer to the mic. He's just like over here, like, come on, Phil. It's like Pauly, we can't use that take, bud. But was really great, really sweet dude. Man, I fucking grew up on Pauly Shore. Son-in-law.
I had his album when I was like in middle school. Did you ever hear his album?
No.
God.
You should find
I
it.
didn't even know
Whoa.
That's incredible.
He's got a song in there called Lisa about a skanky, trashy girl, as he says, named Lisa, and how much he loves her.
That
Oh
sounds
my God. So it's a
time
music
appropriate.
album. It's not stand-up.
No, it's mostly stand-up, but there is a song on it that is called like Lisa Lisa or something like that.
What? Should I text him right now? I have Pauly Shore's number.
So who's left? Who's still on your list that you guys haven't gotten yet that you're dying to see?
Probably like a Richard Linklater we really like.
Oh, yeah. We've been really trying to get Linklater on there. Same with Paul Thomas Anderson. We want filmmakers.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Just because it's
super
like,
weird.
why
Because
not
you
try to
wanna
get
meet
the
your heroes.
Yeah, I think so.
sort of what the show's become in a
We've
way.
been trying to get a meeting with Matt and Trey forever. So they'd be really cool, too.
Paul Thomas Anderson has ever done anything
That's why it's so great.
on
That's why it would
camera.
be
I mean,
so
outside
great.
of an interview, yeah.
Yeah.
He does characters per se.
Yeah. He could
funny.
be himself.
Yeah.
A pigeon. PTA.
That should be the name of the pigeon.
Pigeon
PTA.
TA. He's a teacher's assistant.
Yeah.
Let's turn it over to the audience for questions. Who has questions out here? Do you have a question? What's your question?
Hey guys, which animated show would you like to do a crossover with?
Ooh.
Oh, God,
Funny
we
you
did.
should ask. We
Did you?
one.
You saw that episode, right? Episode 2. I
Who?
think we sent it out.
I
to
did
you.
see episode 2 of this season.
Yeah. Maybe we're. But we have a crossover that happens with Family Guy.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
It kind of spoils the episode a little bit, but it's really cool. We got that was kind of the biggest get for the season, to have Lois Griffin actually on our show.
And Alex Borstein do the voice.
Alex
of her and
Borstein did the
everything,
voice.
so
Fox
kinda
gave
huge.
us the animation and everything. It was so cool.
Very cool.
When I
couldn't
saw
believe
that,
it.
when I saw that character appear and hearing the voice, it was actually like a more shocking get than
Yeah.
I think any of your other
Yes.
It's
celebrity
totally.
cameos.
It's
You're
cra- I
how did
almost
they do
cried.
this? How
She
did
was
they
just-
work this out?
Family Guy was super cool about it, and they basically said if Alex is game to do the voice, then go ahead, just do it. And she was game to do it, and it's crazy. She just shows up a little bit in our
I
episode.
love that the character too of the boy who
Jacob.
just
Oh,
yeah,
Jacob,
that's such
that's
a
Lauren
perfect like
Lapkus.
teenage troll who just wants to screw cartoon characters and yell at people.
He's great.
Yeah.
He's great, and she's great. Lauren,
Next question.
super funny.
Hey guys.
Hey.
The word you were looking for before was taggart.
Taggart.
Yes.
Ragtag comes from Taggart.
Ragged and taggart.
Wow.
Yes.
I can fucking sleep tonight.
I know. I do what I can. So when you guys started the show, how scary was it to leave your jobs and really just dive into it? Was it just like terrifying and like insane?
Yeah, it was a little scary, I'd say. But you know, when something's laid out like that, it's all so surreal while it's happening that you can't say no. Basically, you'd be remiss to say no. So you just kind of fucking dive in, and making stuff is crazy, but you just gotta do it. You just gotta keep doing it.
And that's what I would say is that we were doing it for 2 years at that point. So even though it was like this thing where we ended up winning Best Comedy at the New York Television Festival, and that's what kind of started the ball rolling. Up until that point, we had been very disciplined about making the shorts every month.
We took it seriously.
We took it really seriously. And even before it was anything, we were planning a deck going, okay, this is what the show looks like. This is the aesthetic of the show. And before we were even in a position to pitch it seriously. So I think we built to that point.
What was it about this idea? Because, I mean, you're working in advertising, and everybody who's creative has ideas all the time. They throw them out, and then you don't work on them, or you start working on them, and it falls away. What was it about animals that made you guys so disciplined about it?
You know, I don't know. It just clicked, and I think this is our first project together, so we were just taking it seriously and trying to one-up how seriously we could take it from one another probably is a little bit of the aspect of it, but
sort of reach that point where you need somebody to be versus in terms of how serious
a little
you can be about
bit,
something?
yeah, where it's just like,
in a
let's work,
productive way.
let's work Friday night, let's work on Saturdays. I remember being in our office and you just hear the bar downstairs and it's like, why aren't you guys working on your passion projects right now? Like, why am I up here? But you just kind of, you do the damn thing.
Also, like,
hey, brother, what's up?
Having
me now. Sorry, Mike.
It's okay. Having deadlines is a big thing for us. Like we would do it every month, so we would screen it at the end of each month. So it just became this thing to go, okay, we have to do it by this time with the resources we have, and it just became you put yourself in a pressure cooker to get things done in a doable way and taking small bites, and then you just do it.
I think we have time for one more right
Uno
here.
más.
Hey,
Hola.
so what were some of your favorite animation or like cartoons growing up, and where did any of them influence this show?
Man, I was raised on South Park. I was like the same age as the kids when it came out. So I've been watching South Park since I was 9 or 8 years old.
Do you remember how crazy it was when South Park came out?
Yeah.
I was
It was
in like
a big deal.
6th or 7th grade when it came out, and I just remember the next day riding bikes with other kids, and it was like, oh, my parents wouldn't let me watch it. We watched it. All we're doing is quoting it. And it was like that for years. It was just this.
There was a memo sent home to all our whole class that was like, there's a new cartoon out. It's a cartoon. It's going to look like it's for kids. It's not for kids. Don't let your kids watch it. South Park. And obviously I got this. I was like, this show is the fucking God. It's like, that's the best advertising possible, you idiots.
I also remember being in elementary school specifically where I remember getting like the little chef like
lanyard?
Yeah, it was like a lanyard,
the enamel
clay
thing. Yeah.
Just that
So
and
good.
the t-shirts, and then talking about with everybody in literally 4th grade, like whenever that was, and then also being a senior in high school and talking
still
about it
watching
week
every
to week.
episode, yeah.
That's just the only show.
It's crazy.
I just don't remember anything taking over pop culture like that really
Yeah.
since South Park.
It was great.
I'm also not in 7th grade anymore, so maybe
Right,
they still
right,
have something
yeah.
like that happens.
Yeah.
But
Who knows?
I remember asking my cousin Dana, we watched an episode, and it was, Cartman goes, Mom, Kitty's being a dildo. And the mom goes, I know a certain kitty that's sleeping with mommy tonight. And I remember I asked my cousin Dana, I said, Dana, what is a dildo? Just a much older girl cousin, very uncomfortable, much like this moment.
so So South Park was kind of the. I mean,
South Park. We like
I'd say
King of the
South-
Hill a lot.
King of the Hill,
Is
yeah,
another one that
totally.
we-
For just human characters and all that sort of stuff, King of the Hill is definitely way out there. And obviously, you know, early, we get compared to it a lot, but early Adult Swim was just like, what a cool Wild West of just doing new and interesting stuff. I mean, yeah, just all those shows, even Space Ghost.
Aqua
and
Teen
stuff.
and Space Ghost were just,
Yeah.
like unbelievable. If you were stoned at 1 o'clock in the morning in college and one of those things were on, it was like the best thing ever.
Yeah, and it was just like a little scary. Like they just had such a cool package. All their bumpers and stuff. It's just talking directly to you. It's like very cool and punk in a way. It felt like for a TV show. What else?
I feel like you guys try to replicate might not be the best word, but definitely are trying to add a punk vibe. I think that probably just has to do with your own personal aesthetics. And what
Yeah.
you like, but I mean, you have the guy from Circle Jerks. His band was doing a song last season, and
Yeah.
the soundtrack is definitely a much more alternative and punk vibe.
Ty Segall wrote a song for us this season as a little squirrel and puts on a little concert.
That's him right there.
Our parents' wedding. There he is.
Yeah, that cute.
For sure, and that's the other element. Just going along with that idea of getting our influences in it. I think Phil and I will hand pick every song that's in it. So every song front to back of season 1 and season 2 is something we like and have wanted to be in it and give voice to. And it's fun putting in songs that are, you know, more established and known and use them kind of cinematically. But it's also really cool doing the same thing for people's bands who are, you know, relatively small, who a lot of people
Who we
don't
hung out
know,
with in New York and stuff.
who are our New York friends, and getting to just go have this HBO show and put their music in it is just such a cool, satisfying thing. So hopefully people find music from that, hopefully.
Well, I was telling you in the green room that there was a song in episode 2 that I really loved by a band. We actually played it when you guys were walking out.
Cool. Leapling.
Leapling, yeah, who are friends of yours as well.
Yeah.
Here's a little advertisement for Leapling.
Yeah.
Leapling, Dan Arnaz. Check it out.
Guys, Animals premieres this weekend, right? The second season premieres
Tonight.
Tonight.
Premieres
Wow.
on HBO.
11:30 tonight on
11:30.
HBO.
So good. Such a
Crazy.
funny show. Thanks so much for being here, you
Thank
guys.
you.
Animals
Thanks for
tonight
having
on
us.
HBO.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you.